Hello and welcome to Inside the Americas. I'm Melissa Bell. Coming up on today's show, tensions rise in Venezuela as demonstrators test the state of emergency declared by Nicolas Maduro. In Havana, a step on the road to peace in Colombia is taken through a deal with FARC rebels to return thousands of children to civilian life. And from eyesore to environmental lifeline, former oil rigs are given a new lease of life as artificial reefs in the Gulf of Mexico. We begin, though, today in Venezuela, where protesters took to the streets in opposition at the state of emergency declared by Nicolas Maduro at the start of the week. The Venezuelan president is also locked in a battle with parliament, which is pushing for a referendum to have the chosen successor of Hugo Chavez ousted. Anger has been growing these last few months in the country as a result of food shortages, hyperinflation and endemic violence. For many, daily life has become an uphill struggle, and some believe that 17 years of Chavez rule could be coming to an end. This report by Margot Loisillon, Marie-Ève de Teuf and Mark Thompson.
Like many other Caracas residents, Irma is a mother on the verge of a nervous breakdown.
That's the result of 5 days without water. This is how we live now as Venezuelans. We've lost our quality of life. As you can see, we were middle-class people, and now we're not even that anymore. Just look at the kitchen. This is how we live now that we have no water. Now it's just arrived.
Water and electricity are both being rationed. Officials say it's due to an ongoing drought, but most Venezuelans believe these shortages are due to wider political instability. Every Friday since the end of April, schools have closed to save power. State employees now only work 2 days a week, procedures more akin to a wartime economy.
Sometimes my daughter bursts with joy in a supermarket when she sees that there is oil. She says, "Mom, there is oil," or "There is sugar." No, this is not what I wish for my country. I've had enough.
3 years after Hugo Chavez's death, Venezuela's socialist government looks adrift. Falling oil prices have hit the state's budget and, in turn, the subsidized economy. Inflation here is now the highest in the world. Basic food supplies are being sold on the black market for 10 or 20 times the price supplied by the government. At the supermarkets, the queues go down the street.
I left home at 4 in the morning. I went to several places for nothing. All I could buy is a pack of maize flour, no more. This has to stop. The one who needs to leave will leave. We'll kick him out of power.
Calls for Hugo Chavez's successor, President Nicolas Maduro, to step down are increasing. The opposition has gathered close to 2 million signatures demanding a recall referendum. But the government is doing everything it can to slow down the procedure. In the meantime, everyone is feeling the pinch.
Until last year, working 4 jobs, I earned about $300 a month. This year, working the same 4 jobs, I only make $100, and this will keep diminishing as our currency devalues.
Ephraim is a trauma surgeon working in Caracas's public hospitals. Free healthcare was one of the foundations of the Chavez regime.
These are all the bandages we've got, 6 little rolls. And these here are made in China, very poor quality. It tears your skin off.
Rising inflation has made getting hold of basic supplies and medicine difficult. The local media has labelled the situation a humanitarian crisis. Patients are dying across the country because of the shortages, and security has also become a problem.
You wonder why I always keep my bag with me. If I leave it, it'll be stolen. It's happened to me many times.
Thefts and assaults have become a daily occurrence. As a result, some have turned to vigilantism. In this street alone, 11 people have been attacked in the past 6 months. 5 have been killed.
Here, if a thief is caught, all he can do is pray. If the police don't save him, the people will kill him.
Caracas has become the most dangerous city in the world. Even enthusiasm among the regime's supporters is dwindling. The turnout for the traditional Chavez march on May 1st was far less than previous years. Those who did are nostalgic about their late president.
I came out to march because I support the revolution. Chavez did important things. We don't want to lose them.
Opinion polls suggest Maduro will lose if a recall referendum takes place. After 17 years of revolution, the country's crumbling economy could spell a fatal blow for the government.
Well, just across the border in Colombia, meanwhile, the country's president praised an agreement struck between his government and FARC rebels on the return of children who've been fighting in the group's ranks. Negotiators are working on a peace deal in Havana. They've said that they've agreed to move children younger than 15 out of FARC camps. According to official figures, the FARC recruited 11,500 minors between 1975 and 2014. Among them, children from the NASA indigenous group. Some of them have returned home, from where they tell us of their story.
Not long ago, this young Colombian, who will remain anonymous for his safety, was cleaning firearms instead of going to school. A member of the NASA indigenous group, he was tired of his home environment and decided to leave for a guerrilla camp, 4 hours away on foot from Tacuello. There, the teenager joined the FARC, the leftist rebel group negotiating a peace deal with the Colombian government after 50 years of conflict.
They ordered me to disarm the rifle, to rebuild it, to clean up, and about a month later they gave me a rifle. They left it to me to take care of, keep it clean and in order.
After 5 months, he escaped. Now the adolescent is part of a state program that helps NASA minors to reintegrate. In addition to psychological and legal assistance, the process includes several indigenous rituals that reconnect the youths with their surroundings.
Para nosotros es necesario hacer un ritual de sanación.
For us, a healing ritual is necessary because these are youths who have separated themselves from our roots, who have other thoughts, and have been affected spiritually.
Otro pensamiento y espiritualmente están afectados.
This other young man was tired of the fighting at home and was looking for something new. He left to join the guerrillas, but didn't like his experience, and his parents and the NASA community leader went to talk directly with the FARC commander to bring him back.
It's better for me to work with my family than to be there and in danger. It's better in a family group.
Now, he's part of an indigenous guard without weapons and helps work on his parents' land. According to the NASA, there are still around 300 of their minors in the ranks of the FARC. Young members, they hope, will soon return to their community.
Now, just before we go, we're going to take a spin in the Gulf of Mexico, where a new and unexpected use has been found for aging oil rigs. The cost of dismantling the platforms can run into millions. So the rigs are now being recycled into artificial reefs. Environmentalists, however, say that the deal is bad for the ecosystem in the long term, as Mark Thompson now reports.
10 kilometres off the Alabama coastline, defunct oil rigs like this one continue to interrupt the horizon. And it looks like they're here to stay. That's because beneath the waves, they've been given a new job: to help encourage coral beds that in turn benefit sea life. Around the base of the rig, you'll now find a wide range of species, among them sea turtles and sharks.
In the Gulf of Mexico, we really don't have or much habitat for coral growth development, and these gas rigs are a huge benefit to the environment.
Oil companies are obligated to remove the platforms from the seabed once they're no longer in use. A mammoth operation which involves dismantling hundreds of tons of steel and can cost up to $2 million. Converting the structures into an artificial reef offers a win-win solution to both the oil companies themselves and the local government.
The oil companies, they save money by reefing these in place. And so what they do is they take about half of the money that they save and they donate to the state of Alabama.
Environmentalists are concerned, though. They believe the plan only encourages the oil companies to keep drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. There are already 7,000 rigs in the region, and a huge spill in 2010 lives fresh in the memory.
It's mostly an effort to make the oil industry appear green, that the government subsidizes the oil industry, and this rigs to reefs program is one of those, leaving a lot of oil industry trash.
Local fishermen are also unimpressed. AC Cooper says this old oil rig isn't visible during bad weather and that it's recently damaged his boat.
It's their responsibility to clean this up. Don't leave it sit here. You know it's no good. Look at it. You're not no purpose in it. Get rid of it. That's just what we need them to do.
Around 500 oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico have already been converted into artificial reefs, to the benefit of the wildlife and the oil companies too.
That's all we've got time for on this edition of Inside the Americas. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next week for all the news from north to south.